everyone, and welcome to the Post Crisis Chat. As always, I'm your co-host, the ever lovely, ever soft Cookie, and with me is, of course, my other co-host, the gentleman, the scholar, the Harry.
All of the above. Hi, this is Randy. If you're a first time viewer, welcome. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're picking up what we're putting down, and hit that bell notification so you can be notified next week when we upload our next episode. Or maybe the next episode's 2 weeks away. I don't know yet. We'll find out. Anyway, we try to do it on a pretty regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen when it happens. I mean, it's like going to the bathroom. You can't force it. You just gotta let back, sit back and let it go. Um, Probably not the best thing I should compare our show to, but whatever, it happened. Uh, but anyways, yeah, it's a small thing to do, all that subscribing and liking and stuff. But it really does help the channel grow, which is something we're really trying to do. We would love to get like a fan base and interact with you guys, and it's a lot of fun. Hey, but if you're not a first time viewer, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm going to anyways. If you're not a first time viewer, welcome back. We are thankful to have you, and now say your piece.
And please be advised, we will be talking about decades old spoilers on the issue we will be discussing today. So today we are talking about Saga of the Swamp Thing 49. We are so close to 50, that amazing issue that's a milestone. This is written by Alan Moore, pencils by Stan Woch, inks by Alfredo Alcala, and this lovely cover was done by Stephen Bissett and John Totalbaum. So let's talk about this cover. I mean, it's a well-drawn close-up of Swamp Thing's face. It looks good, but it doesn't tell me why I should pick up the book. I mean, overall, this cover is kind of meh.
I like it. I really like this cover. This is actually in one of my top favorite covers for Swamp Thing, just because I like the detail on it. Like, if I'm trying to learn how to draw, which I've been trying to learn how to draw for like 40 years, but it's got a lot of good detail, line work in there that I enjoy. Um, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't tell you anything about the story, but I I don't know. Like at this point in time in history, I don't recall you really having to have the cover tell the story
Well,
because
yeah,
I mean you
sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Speak your
I,
piece.
I don't disagree. The line work is amazing. I mean, it is a really good cover, but I don't understand why they would put this cover on it when it's not going to make me pick up the book off the stands if I don't know what Swamp Thing's about.
Uh, I mean, if you're a new reader, yes, you're probably going to have a little bit of difficulty deciphering what is the point of the cover, what is the point of the story. Um, but I also feel like that also kind of works because if I'm a new reader and I start at issue 49, I'm going to be lost. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to understand exactly what's going on here. Alan Moore is not known for writing books that you can just jump into. It's like Grant Morrison. So people who are buying this issue are probably long-term Swamp Thing fans and are familiar with the story.
We pick up right where the last issue left off. Swamp Thing is rescuing Constantine while the bird flies away with the pearl. The bird is headed for a place beyond maps where it will wake something beyond name. Whatever this something is meant to destroy heaven and or earth. I'm kind of unsure at this point, and it's kind of hard to follow exactly what the priests are trying to do anymore. Constantine laments after all the crap he's been through the last 2 years, he ended up a day late and $1 short.
Kind of a good point. I mean, Constantine's pissed at Swamp Thing for not going after the bird, and you can definitely understand his point of view for this because it's like all the effort he's put into his friend sacrificed herself to the dark side because she's a crazy psychopath and decided I would much rather be a creepy bird girl than try and fight evil. I don't understand that judgment or that choice, but to each their own. Um, I, I I loved. I got to point out, I absolutely loved the point where Mal Alomore described Swamp Thing breaking the chains, like breaking Christmas decorations. I thought that was beautifully like if you did not see the drawing there, if there was nothing there, if it was just him writing it, you could easily picture that in your mind, and that's what makes him such a good writer.
Yeah, it really is. That's a good point. I didn't kind of really focus in on that, but you're absolutely right about that. And as the page ends, the Brujería move in for the attack. And then on the next page, we get this double page spread. The art, my gosh, is gorgeous. It looks amazing. Um, Swamp Thing shoves Constantine out of the cave and proceeds to wipe the floor with these Brujeria, calling them fools for trying to fight an earth elemental underground in the middle of a rainforest. That actually gave me a chuckle. And like I said, the art on all of this is just absolutely superb. I want to draw attention to in the middle of that bottom panel, the robe that that one priest is wearing. You can see the faces of the dead Christians in it, and it is just so creepy looking. And yeah, I am in love with the art on this page.
It was really good. This page was a huge payoff for me because I mean I've been waiting for Swamp Thing to unleash the beast and just like take these people out because I mean he can do it. He's powerful enough. So like that build up before it happens, like before I even turned the page, as I was reading, I think I even put the book down and did a little like, oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. And so like the payoff of that was just great. And then even the build up on this page alone of him getting Constantine out, being like, "Hey, you need to leave because I'm about to open up a can here," and then the little squinting of the eyes of like almost like a Clint Eastwood kind of thing if he's ready to draw. I mean, I was pumped for this, and they definitely hit it out of the park for me.
Absolutely. And then on the next page, we see Constantine continues to run, being chased out by a tidal wave of soil. Swamp Thing seems to be drowning the Brujeria in the dirt. I dig it, pun intended. We don't often get to see Swamp Thing unleash all hell like this, and he does it. I mean, it's like you were saying before, it's just Swamp Thing is into it, and he's like, kill them all. Just absolutely destroy them so that they can never come back. And Swamp Thing eventually joins Constantine outside of the cave, and they discuss the situation. The bird is gone to wake a power that can destroy heaven, and they need help. Constantine says he will get in touch with his contacts, and Swamp Thing should get in touch with Swamp Thing's contacts. But as I was originally reading this, before I got further in the story, I was like, who does Swamp Thing know besides Abby and Constantine? We're gonna get to find out, but I was a little confused at this point who or rather, who Swamp Thing was supposed to go get for help.
See, that's funny that you said that, and especially that you flubbed that line too, because that's exactly what I thought. I was the reverse. I knew who Swamp Thing was going to go get. I was like, okay, these are the people I'm waiting for to show up. I was like, all right, who is Constantine getting? Like, what is this part going to be about?
Oh, that's funny. Because I knew exactly, not just because I had read this before, but I'm starting to get pretty familiar with the mystical side of the DC universe lately, and so these characters who are going to come up are some favorites of mine. So we move on to the next page. Enter Baron Winters with Constantine's little joke about winter in Georgetown. Winters was the leader of the Night Force, written by Marv Wolfman, which first appeared in a 15-page insert with New Teen Titans number 21 in 1982. The title of the first story arc of the regular Night Force series was the same as the title of this issue of Swamp Thing. The leopard laying in front of Winters is called Merlin.
I know of Baron Winters. I think I have Night Force #1 somewhere laying around the house. So I grew up like knowing of the book of the character, but I did not. I've never read it. I don't know that much beyond what he looks like and such. So it was. I'm very intrigued to see what Moore is going to do with him because this is a character that he can make me fall in love with.
Hmm. In an interesting coincidence, just last night, I found on Hamilton Book, which is a discount book website, the first 15 issues of Night Force, the hardcover. They had it on deep discount for like $5. So as after reading this issue and seeing that, I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna grab this so I can read that too."
I mean, it should be a good read because I know Wolfman is a good writer. I'm reading Teen Titans currently, and I know he can pull off some good work material. But you'll have to let me know how that is because if it's interesting, I may check it out.
Cool. So Winters correctly figures out that Constantine wants to use his home to help in this fight. Winters agrees to assemble his Night Force, and I put in my notes. Now I really want to read that comic. If it's only 14 issues by Marv Wolfman and Gene Cologne, and I love Gene Cologne's artwork. But now I get to. I made these notes before I found the book. So before Winters leaves, he once again mentions Newcastle, which seems to be a sore point for Constantine, as he himself and other people keep bringing it up.
Yeah, it is kind of one of those things of like, do you really want to push the buttons? I mean, like, granted, we haven't seen Constantine as this powerful magician. He seems like he's got some, but we don't really see him do too much, and he just talks a lot. Do you really want to push that button and like, kind of get him to the point where maybe he can unleash?
Right? Then we go on to the next page. Constantine follows Winters, offended that Winters doesn't want to seem to associate with Constantine. Constantine is also offended because Winters thinks he has better magical abilities than Constantine. Constantine demands Winters go across the street and get him a hot dog from a vendor there, which I thought was really weird. But the reason for that is coming up. Constantine is goading Winters into telling him why Winters can't leave the house, which is somehow connected to the Night Force comic. Again, a really good reason I want to read that. Constantine brings up someone called Sargon, and that seems to get Winters' attention. Winters agrees to let Constantine use his house and stick around since Constantine knows Sargon. I guess it really is all in Hino. Constantine mentions a potential crowd will be joining in the group.
I like this page for a couple of reasons. One, I do like the way he was able to trick Winters into revealing it's like, hey, I know your secret. You can't leave. And like that whole thing was really cool. The way he brings up the Sargon thing. I know again of Sargon. This is another character that I know of. I think I may have read a couple of appearances in other books, but I'm not very familiar with him. So again, more. You got to make me like this character. I'm trusting you, man. I'm trusting you.
Yep.
Um, and I have an idea as to what Constantine is doing by name dropping Sargon. Like the moment I read it, I was like, all right, man, I'm on to you. I know exactly what you're doing here, and it's
Yep.
clever.
Yep.
Um, and then the middle panel is just beautiful with the face of Winters. I thought the shading, I thought everything in it, that's just a gorgeous piece of artwork right there.
Dude, I am super impressed, and it's really weird, but that vase to the right of Constantine, the detail on a freaking vase is just absolutely amazing. And if you look at the handles of the swords behind Winter's head,
Uh huh.
you can see like where the grips have been taped. I mean, the level of detail in these panels is just through the roof.
No, they did a really good job. Like the artwork in this one actually impressed me more than I thought it was going to.
So on the next page, we do see the bird continues in its flight as we head to Dr. Fate's tower. Kent Nelson is there with Enza, his wife, which the Dr. Fate series by J.M. DeMatteis. If you have not read that, I highly recommend it. I just finished it. It's a little wordy, but it's a pretty good one. Um, Next, we see Dr. Occult in a big city of small horrors, it says. I think that's a reference to something. I'm not sure what. Whatever that means, Dr. Occult is worried, and I don't know much about Dr. Occult to say anything beyond that. Um, the bird continues on as once again Cain murders Abel, which, if you're familiar with DC Comics, Sandman, any of the earlier stuff, Cain murdering Abel happens a lot. Um, Cain and Abel were the host of DC's defunct horror anthology series, The House of Mystery and The House of Secrets, respectively. They appear in a few issues of Swamp Thing. We covered some of those issues. And they're big characters in Neil Gaiman's Sandman, as they are regulars in The Dreaming.
That's yeah, you pretty much summed it up right there. The only thing I can add to it is I again, this is the third time I'll bring it up, and I'll probably bring it up one more time. Um, Occult. I know of him because of a couple of books that he's appeared in that I have. I think even more recently in current issues, he has appeared in Mark Waid's Justice League Unlimited. There's been some appearances there, but I've never quite gotten um, what makes him so special. I think he's also in Neil Gaiman's Books of Magic. I believe he's one of the characters in that.
Hmm,
Uh,
I'm slowly reading my way towards that. I'm gonna get there soon, maybe next
that's
year.
that's a that's a really good read. In fact, that's actually probably got one of the coolest Constantine scenes I've ever seen. So
Hmm, I'm looking
look out for
forward to
that.
that. Um, so we move on to the next page where Swamp Thing is in the green and feels happy and at home here. But he does have to push on because the fate of heaven and possibly the entire universe is at stake. Swamp Thing is on his way to the afterlife, which he previously visited when he had to get Abby back from hell. And then this explains to me finally who the people uh, Swamp Thing can contact to get help are. Um, he's in a region of the just dead, as in people who have recently died. And we know he's been there before. We saw that in a previous Swamp Thing comic.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I saw it coming. I was waiting for that to happen. So the moment he showed up here, I was like, okay, this is going to be cool. I'm excited. Let's get to the recruitment.
Yes, and then in fact, on the next page, we see Boston Brand, aka Deadman, chatting with a recently deceased man. The man is dead, but shouldn't be. He is about to get a cardiac massage and be able to go back to life, but the man doesn't want to leave. The man sees Swamp Thing and reconsiders after he sees what Swamp Thing looks like. I love the look on this guy's face. Um, and then Boston's reaction is hilarious. Like, that's right, you better go. Like it was Boston who got him to go back when it was Swamp Thing he was afraid of. Boston goes, "Hey, Swamp Thing, what do you want?"
This page actually made me laugh out loud a little bit with the interaction. I mean, I like Deadman. He's an interesting character. I don't get to like see him that much pop up in things, but whenever he does, the cartoons or whatever, they do a good job of making him cool, but also kind of funny, which I always enjoy. There's like he kind of brings the entertainment value
Totally.
into whatever. So I like that Alan Moore didn't make him all like dark and brooding or it's like a lot of British writers will come in and just completely flip the script on somebody and make them just a brooding, horrible monster. And I mean, like not like I'm calling out Swamp Thing or anything.
Well, yeah, I've read a bunch of Deadman stories from the Silver Age, and he's kind of a dick in the Silver Age, honestly. And here he seems like a much more likable person. Alan Moore writes him as much more likable. So we move on to the next page. So on the next page, the stranger shows up. Hell yes. The stranger reminds us the last time Swamp Thing was in the afterlife to get Abby's soul. Stranger also makes a little pun about strangers. Boston makes a joke about the stranger scaring people to death, which is funny given where they are. We get a complete recap of the situation through an explanation to Boston about the situation with the bird. And then Swamp Thing is all we gotta split up because they have more people to round up.
Yes. And like I said, I know who's coming. I'm looking forward to that. Anytime the stranger shows up, I'm always interested. I mean, he's just to me, he's kind of reminds me a little bit of Moon Knight from Marvel in the sense that it's like I feel like the character has a great look to him that's always fascinating, and whenever he shows up, I just want to like look at pictures of him. But whenever they do a story with him, it's always hit and miss. It's like, all right, well, it depends which writer we're going to get this month or this week. I mean, because there's some people that can really screw you up, or then there's some people that are going to give you a really good story.
Yeah, for the most part, my experience with The Stranger is with Alan Moore and J.M.D. Mateus, and he's written really well by both of those writers. So I haven't really had any bad experiences with The Stranger, but I do want to read some more Stranger. Um, so on the next page, we switch back to Constantine and Sargon, who is asking why he should help Constantine. Sargon thinks he did enough during the crisis, and he shouldn't have to do more. Much like Constantine already name dropped Sargon to impress Winter, now he name drops Winter to impress Sargon. I kind of love this moment and what Constantine is doing here. It's what you mentioned earlier. Like, yeah, okay, we see how this is going to work now.
Exactly. And I know, like, I'm trying to keep going off on tangents to a minimum, but the whole reason I know that whole scheme is because Eastman and Laird, the creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, used that same scheme to get both the deal with the toy company and the cartoon made. They lied to both of
That's
them saying
awesome.
they had it. Yeah, so it's like I that's how I know of that scheme, and I was like, I saw Constantine doing it. Like, that's clever, dude. That's clever.
Okay, so then we switch back to Swamp Thing and the Stranger, and then we switch back to Swamp Thing, the Stranger, and Deadman wandering the afterlife. Uh, Boston is questioning if they are going the right way. They are seeking the Spectre. Uh, we are getting a who's who of mystical part of the DCU. This part of the DCU is quickly becoming one of my favorite parts. They realize when the Spectre speaks that they are actually traveling on the Spectre's body. Given that second, first and second panel, it looks like they are practically standing on the Spectre's nipple.
I was gonna make a nipple joke. I'm glad you beat me to it.
um,
I
yeah.
I thought this whole sequence is really cool and beautiful. It just I feel like it was poorly planned out for the shock value. Like, if you don't see the bottom, like 3 panels or so, it looks like, okay, yeah, maybe they're kind of traveling in the afterlife on like a white mountain range or whatever. But since you can blatantly see what's to come, it ruins the whole like surprise. You're on the Spectre right now. I like I would have loved to see if they could have planned that a little bit better for a better surprise.
Hey, that's one thing about reading digitally and not being able to fit the whole page on the screen. It was a little bit of a surprise for me. um, so the, let's see. On the next page, the Spectre saw the bird and let it go because he wants to fight the darkness. WTF, Spectre. He is convinced that he can easily beat the darkness once and for all, as he is the final champion. Deadman and Stranger think that the Spectre is crazy for letting the bird through just because the Spectre wants something big to fight. Um, then they proceed to move on from the Spectre.
I I I loved that whole thing because for 2 reasons. One, because I love the fact that the Spectre was kind of giving that whole thing of like, I'm looking for somebody to fight. It kind of gave you this unique look at the Spectre that I've never seen personally before. That almost arrogance. I've never seen an arrogant Spectre. So him looking forward to the challenge, that's a cool twist. I'm intrigued in it. The other thing is just I'm looking forward to also the fact that it's like anytime a hero goes in cocky of like, I want the fight, I'm looking forward to it, I want to prove myself, 9 times out of 10, that dude's getting smacked down and there's going to have to be an ultimate team up.
Yeah, yeah, you're right about that. So on the next page, we cut back to Constantine, who is trying to recruit John Zatara and his daughter Zatanna. Zatanna is I'm sorry. Zatara is reluctant to go, but Zatanna's all sign me up. That causes Zatara some pause because honestly, he knows what kind of guy Constantine is. However, this convinces Zatara that he must go along too in order to protect his daughter. Uh, Constantine in that bottom right panel looks so pleased with himself. Like, yeah, I did it. I did it again. I manipulated people into doing what I wanted them to do.
He really does. It's almost like he's doing it like to kind of get his mojo back because of the big loss that he took uh, with the villains earlier. It was like okay, and like basically losing his whole troop of companions, not seeing the turn to steal a wrestling phrase to see the heel turn that was coming with his friend with Judith. Um, it's like that kind of took a little something out of him, and then now he's got to amp it up a little bit with the manipulation to kind of get that mojo back.
Yeah, making himself feel better about it. Totally.
Yeah. Now I got to point out, like it took me until I read the panel where they mentioned the name. It took me a while to figure out that that was Zatanna because I am so used to her, and I think he brings it up later in the fishnets and the top hat and everything. This costume was just god awful. I don't know who designed it, but they really should have been kicked in the butt because it was a horrible design.
The post-crisis run of Justice League of America had her in it, and this is what she looks like through the whole thing.
I would have been it would have driven me crazy. I love and it's probably going to turn into a sexual thing, but I don't mean it that way. I love Zatanna and fishnets and a top hat. It just fits. It looks right.
I'm not big on that. That's fine. I don't disagree with that. I want to know what the hell is in her hair. We've You and I have had a side conversation about this in the past. I sent you a picture and I'm like, what is this? And you're like, oh, and I agree. I don't know. It's whatever this red thing is, she's wearing it all through the Justice League too.
I don't know. It doesn't look like anything that any human being would ever actually wear, uh, like purposely. So I don't understand it either. I think it's just one of the tragic cases of comic book creators, especially artists, getting very overzealous with the design work of like trying to come up with some cool, hip, new look for a character, and then the next thing you know, everyone's got shoulder pads and a cybernetic arm.
I think this is an editorial thing too, because her look is consistent throughout all of these books. Anyway, so we move on to the next page where Zatanna and Constantine are having a private conversation. Um, Apparently, at one point together, they were in a tantric studies group, and Zatanna's father knows about it. And again, the Tana's father, Zatara, knows what kind of man Constantine is. Like, I literally laughed out loud as I was reading this. Constantine mentions Zatanna's old costume, fishnets, and a top hat, like you mentioned, and how much he enjoyed the old costume, which is funny considering that is exactly what Zatanna runs around in these days in modern comics. And they share a very intimate kiss before Constantine departs.
I my jaw dropped a little bit when they mentioned the tantric studies group because I was like, I think most adults here reading this or probably even watching this video, we all know what tantric studies means. Um, so like you said before, is like this is still a point where the comic authority code still exists, and all right, you can't mention sex, the death of a cop, and all this kind of stuff, but basically a magical sex orgy. Hey, man, you can go ahead and I'll mention that all you want, and a little surprised.
Anyway, so moving on to the next page, we see we are back with Swamp Thing, Stranger, and Deadman. Stranger says that they have arrived in hell. They are in search of Etrigan. Why, oh, why are they in search of the demon? More.
We have to bring your favorite character back. I mean, you're not going to enjoy the book unless you get to read his rhymes.
Ugh. Anyway, so I recently picked up DC's Finest, Birth of the Demon. I'm hoping going back and reading those old stories will give me a new appreciation for the demon, because right now I kind of hate him. The demon arrives in an absolutely fabulous way out of a pink soup bowl of some kind. It's something pink. Anyway, he makes a grand entrance, and I gotta say, I do appreciate the grand entrance.
I thought it was pretty cool actually. Yeah, the popping out of the, it looked like pink slime. It kind of reminds me of the pink slime from Ghostbusters too, a little bit, like he was coming out of that. Uh, I had a hard time following the rhyme scheme though. Like I was trying to read it and I was like, okay, this word doesn't rhyme with this word, so where is the rhyming word going? So eventually, I just kind of like started to skim the rhymes and just get the gist of what he was saying.
I usually ignore what the demon says. Um, so on the next page, we see that Etrigan saw the bird coming, tried to stop it, but failed. It actually seems like the demons in hell are afraid of what is to come, which kind of starts to really help you see, uh, in the words of De La Soul, stakes is high right now if the demons in hell are afraid of what's coming.
That's why you watch this channel, people. So you get the dirt on the comic books, you get the existentialism of like this mystical, magical element that's going on in the Swamp Thing universe, and you get quotes from De La Soul.
Yes.
Um,
Um, Shout out to De
they're
La
building.
Soul who just did a Tiny Desk concert. You're not going to see this for months after we actually record it, but the Tiny Desk concert just came out today, and it's amazing. Go find it. Anyway,
Shameless plug for them, but they'll appreciate it.
yes.
Um, they're hyping this whatever it is to come. They're hyping it up really big, and I'm kind of getting excited to see what the big reveal for this big bad is. I'm really hoping it's going to be something cool looking. Like give us some Cthulhu.
It's the Great Darkness. So we are then back at the Winner's Estate. The assembled occultists mingle with each other. Constantine attempts to convince his friend Steve Dayton to put on his Mento helmet to try and make contact with the spirit realm. Now, Steve Dayton is a really interesting character. He is Changeling slash Beast Boy, whichever name you want to call him. That's Changeling's stepdad. I've run into him before while he was in the Teen Titans book. And this story that we're reading now has a direct effect on what happens to him in the Titans book. And it's really interesting to read both sides of that story, and understanding what's happening on the other side after the story is complete. Go check out Teen Titans Omnibus Volume 3 if you'd like to see the other side of the story. Um,
So where does that happen? Because I'm actually currently reading Teen Titans right now. So you said Omnibus 3, so that's pretty much kind of later on in the series, then, isn't it?
it is because we're in the mid '80s, and this is, the DC universe is still kind of cohesive, even though we're in the Black Label Vertigo whatever book.
Okay. All right. I'm going to keep an eye on that now that you brought it up because I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued as that.
Cool. So Constantine continues to try to convince Dayton to put on the Mento helmet. Constantine promises it's safe, but all of us, including Dayton, know that none of this is safe.
No, this is going to be very interesting. I'm kind of like he's piqued my interest in Mento. Like I said, I know him a little bit from the Titans, so it's like he's Moore's doing a good job of getting me interested enough in these characters to want to see more of them, of like what's going to happen. I'm hoping maybe we'll get more of them in Swamp Thing. I don't know. I got a feeling we probably will not see any more of Baron Winters, Zatanna, or Doctor Occult in Swamp Thing, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed.
I don't know. We got a big Rick Vetch run coming up after Alan Moore is done, so they may come back. I literally don't know. We'll find out. So we move on to the next page, and Constantine mentions something interesting, which explains to us why the Constantine wanted to use this house in the first place. This house is not fixed in time and space like everything else is. It is somehow separated from the everyday world and closer to the intangible realms, which is why Constantine chose it. Constantine thinks that Mento's helmet can forge a psychic link with the afterworld to channel their magic through. John wants to have a test run. Dayton is still very reluctant about this, and John takes the helmet from him and literally sets it on his head. Uh, Constantine is being very pushy right now. And then he asks Dayton to check out the uninvited Dr. Occult. Um, Now, Dr. Occult made his first appearance in New Fun Comics #6 in 1935, and he was actually created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, who were also the creators of Superman. He became part of the so-called Technicoat Brigade with Constantine in Neil Gaiman's Books of Magic series. So you mentioned the Books of Magic earlier. Do you remember that?
I recall, I thought it was the Trench Coat Brigade spun out of the uh, Books of Magic book.
You're right. I can't even read my own hand typing here.
It's okay. It happens. You're old. You don't have your glasses. It's fine. Just have your warm milk, watch your Matlock, go to sleep. Let the rest of us handle it. Um, I never read Trenchcoat Brigade because I kind of felt like, see, that's the thing is when you read books of magic, everything that spins out of books of magic becomes tainted because it's like it's hard to follow Neil Gaiman's writing in that. And I know they were able to do it when they actually did the books of magic series, but some of the other stuff was like didn't quite really um feel right for some reason. Like it just felt like they couldn't do it. It's like trying to follow Grant Morrison. You can try, but eh, it's hard.
So Dr. Occult becomes aware of Minto's presence and actually blocks them out. And then Constantine asks Minto to make contact with the spirit dimensions. And Minto is apparently successful in doing so, based on the look of extraordinary pain in that bottom right panel. Oh my gosh. So then we see that on the next page, Dayton has found the bird. He looks around where the bird is and he sees a safe space below himself as big as a continent. And it looks like a fortress concentration camp, he says. Dayton wonders if this is hell as the bird flies on.
I'm taking a wild stab in the dark. When I read this, the interpretation that I got was he's looking at apocalypse.
Interesting. That could be. That could be. Dayton sees a new space constantly moving and changing, and conjuring up things that shouldn't exist. It sounds like some non Euclidean geometry type situation, and it actually makes Dayton feel sick. He shifts off the bird due to that feeling and lands on some ugly, diseased minds that look like demons or devils or something like that. And they saw the bird. They are excited about the bird's implications. And so maybe not demons, since we were aware that the demons in hell were actually afraid of what's coming, and these guys are looking forward to it, which indicates to me that these guys are actually something worse than demons, which is kind of even scarier.
They are actually demons. I cannot remember the name of them. I wanted to call them the Demons Three, but I don't think that is 100% correct. But they are villains from the Justice League.
Oh,
Um, I cannot remember what they are called though, for the life of me, because I was trying to figure out what each of these panels represented, and I said I thought the first one was Apocalypse. That's the thing that I got. The third one, I know again who they are. I cannot think of their name, but I know who they are. The middle one, I am stumped on. Like for a second, I thought maybe it had something to do with the source wall, but since uh, you're kind of getting away from the new Genesis stuff, I'm not sure what that third one is or what that second one is. So
hmm.
if anybody out there knows what that's supposed to represent or
Yeah,
what
let
that
us know
is,
in the comments.
yeah, because I'm really curious.
So then Dayton finds Swamp Thing and his companions while getting back to following the bird. Dayton can actually read the bird's thoughts. The bird is thinking about the human woman that it used to be. The bird is dying. and the chaos around the bird is tearing it up. The bird drops the pearl into a soup of half formed delirium, is what it calls it, and Dayton hears the splash as the pearl hits. In that
I
last panel, it seems like everybody's suddenly become aware of something.
Yeah, I like the way they drew that, where it's like everyone, even Merlin, is kind of like looking up, like he hears something. So I thought that was really well done, and I like the description of the way he described dropping the pearl into the what was it again, the soup of delirium.
Yes, half formed
That
delirium.
that I mean, who the hell thinks of that stuff? Because that's beautifully
Somebody
described.
on a lot of drugs.
Definitely.
So then Dayton says it is done. Um, the summoning is over. The messenger is dead. The message has been delivered. And wait a second, the Brujería lied to Judy in the last issue? They told her she would live forever. Who could have seen such a thing coming?
I mean, I think we all figured that was going to happen. They were going to lie. I mean, you never turn your back on the hero to join the villain, because the villain's going to stab you in the back just as quick as they can. But she was a young punk kid when it happened, so you can't blame her too much.
The summoning is over. Here comes the night. Oh my god, how did people wait an entire month to see what happens next?
I don't know how I can wait an entire week to see what happens next. I'm really tempted to read this like after we're done recording, just jump ahead, because I'm kind of like pumped for this. I'm very curious of what's coming.
I may or may not have read a little ahead myself. Not well, not read. Read's the wrong word. I kind of flipped through a few pages. I didn't concentrate on it too much, but just to remind myself of what's coming. So I absolutely love this issue. The art was consistent and wonderful throughout it. The story is really good too. And yes, I realize it's kind of a setup for the last dozen or so issues, but this setup actually is moving the story forward. The pacing between Swamp Thing and Constantine was amazing. Watching the two groups, one from the corporeal world and one from the spiritual world, come together was a lot of fun. Watching Constantine con and manipulate people into joining his side was a lot of fun too. Watching him convince Dayton to put on the helmet, knowing Dayton was reluctant, knowing it was dangerous, and knowing Dayton knows that it was dangerous, and Constantine still lies straight to his face, and everybody knows Constantine is lying. That shows a lot about Constantine's character. He wants to help save the world, but he's not above being a lying, manipulative bastard to do it.
I I agree. I thought this one was really well done. I mean, this was so well written, this issue. I was so invested into what was happening that I didn't even mind the fact that this 40-year-old comic is starting to show the ages of time, as a lot of the lettering is starting to fade. And I had to really try to like maneuver the book in the proper light to try and catch what was written there. And I didn't mind.
Get you a magnifying glass.
I've got a magnifying glass and glasses. I'm not that old yet. Shut up. But anyway, but no, it's just it's fading. It's an old book. It's going to happen, but it didn't bother me. I was like so invested in what was happening. He did a good job building up the importance of what's coming, which I felt was kind of lacking a little bit before. Like he touched on it, but he didn't really get you to the point where you're like, oh crap, okay, we're screwed. We need to really figure this out. And I think we did a good job on this one, because we got two sides, powerful magical characters on both sides here, trying to figure out how to stop this, and a good crew too, like an Ocean's 13. Actually, let's pick a better movie. Ocean's 11. Better movie. Better movie.
That's a good call. Now, one side note I did want to bring up: Doctor Fate, Sargon, and other Earth 2 characters existing in Constantine and the other magical characters' realities, also acting as if they had always known each other, implies that this story takes place during the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths number 11. However, the many similarities to the Earth 1 continuity, the Swamp Thing, Abbey Cable affair, the Newcastle incident, and the Brujería's master plan, are also a side effect of the post crisis timeline still being in flux after the merging of the last five pre crisis Earths. This implies that this issue is technically the first Swamp Thing story to be set on New Earth. The timeline will eventually stabilize by the events of the Man of Steel number 1, almost a few months after this story. But I thought the way that Alan Moore took the crisis that was editorially forced upon him and turned it into a very unique Swamp Thing story was just amazing. I mean, this is the man can write. He is. I understand why people call him one of the best writers of all time.
Yeah, no, it's really really fascinating because you kind of see the other like I think you've got the omnibuses, so you've seen it too. But my brother, he got all of the well as many as he could of the crossovers for Crisis. So we've got Crisis, and then we've got all those crossovers, and I would flip through them sometimes, and it was kind of like a okay, maybe it was considered a crossover, but like nothing really major happened. It just kind of felt like, oh, we're going to put Crisis on this, have a character cameo for a brief moment, and then that's the tie-in. Where he took it to a level of like he expanded this into a huge story arc that has like grand implications here of what is going to basically alter the future of Swamp Thing as well. And nobody did that with the crossovers. Like there was no one else that was trying this.
Yeah, I agree. It's the man is just a master at his craft. So overall, I'm gonna give this issue a 4.5 out of 5 mental helmets. Art and story are on point right there. We get a small payoff into what we know is going to be the big lead up to issue 50, which is going to be our next episode. I am so freaking excited. And I'm so sorry to our editor who's going to have to edit the issue 50 because that one's going to be a longer one.
Yeah, that's gonna be we're gonna be here for hours and hours and hours discussing that one probably.
So, what was your
um,
score?
I'm probably gonna go with about a four. I might go with a 4.5. I'm a little torn on it. The artwork was really really good. I'm wasn't as happy with the artwork as you were. Like you loved it a lot more than I did. I really enjoyed it. There were some great panels. There was some that were kind of felt a little bit like, okay, this is a typical 80s comic book. Um, I thought the writing though was superior. I thought they just like they knocked it out of the park. Good pacing, good build up, good suspense. Um, I was kind of thinking like at the same time, like I know we have to wait until like 50 for the big reveal, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more keys at whatever's coming. Is it a monster? Is it like obviously something's coming out of that water? Give us a hand, a fin, a butt cheek. I don't care. Just throw something at us to kind of let us know that you're not going to drop the ball on this reveal.
Well, I do want to point out and make sure you're aware, so you can get an idea of the size of that wave that's coming. There are two very tiny figures at the bottom of that panel running away, and I'm assuming they're human sized or maybe even a little bigger because they were in fact demon looking creatures. And so yeah, you're asking for a preview of something, but the massive size of it to me is what the preview is.
I mean that's not a bad preview. Obviously that works. I mean we've got kaiju on the incoming. That's going to be kind of cool. Demon kaiju. I'm always down for, but just because we're getting kaiju doesn't mean we're going to be getting a good. I mean, like that's like saying like, okay, you know, Gojira, the original great giant monster movie, the masterpiece, and then that's what we're getting promised, and then we end up getting Godzilla versus Megalon, which is the annoying Japanese kid with the tight shorts running around screaming all the time. That doesn't work. So I'm going to go with a four.
Okay, a 4 is your final answer.
All right, everyone, that is our show. We want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for putting up with us. We're really glad to have you with us watching. We do this for the love of the comics. We could not do this without you, so we appreciate it.
Absolutely. So please join us on our Patreon where we have our post crisis chat book club for our members. We let our patrons get their say in the book, and we'll read some of those comments on the channel when we record. You can find us on Blue Sky also. The link is down in the description below, and we always post about those new episodes that we're making.
Yes. Also, don't forget to check the description in the link below for our Amazon affiliate page. You can pick up the book we are currently reading tonight in various formats, as the lovely Randy, the lovely Miss Randy is showing us right here. Um, that is the Absolute Edition with the mossy cover that he likes to fondle at night. It is a beautiful, beautiful rendition of Swamp Thing. Great
And during
coloring.
the day, too.
Yep. They also have like the various trade paperbacks. You can get it in collected edition. He's about to show that to you. Um, there's a lot of good options on there on Amazon. And the beautiful thing is that if you purchase through us, use our link, we will get a little bit of that money, which we could desperately use, but it's not going to affect your pricing whatsoever.
They also offer the Demon. If you can't get enough of the Demon, you can pick up the DC Finest of the Demon with that amazing Kirby art.
Yes, there's a lot of good trade paperbacks for the characters that we saw in the issue tonight, with the exception of I don't believe there isn't Doctor Occult one, but fingers crossed. Maybe we'll get something of him someday. Maybe he'll be popular.
So, and once again, a reminder: if you could like this video, comment on it as soon as you see it, that would be amazing. It helps the channel grow. And then subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing. You want to know more about Swamp Thing. You want to know more about Batman. Tune in. We want to tell you about how much we love comics.
Definitely. And then also, I guess the last thing that we got to do is we got to give a big a shout out to our editor, the Nacho King. We couldn't do this without you. We appreciate all the hard work that you do for editing these down from like 4 hours to like 45 minutes. That's a wonderful thing. We appreciate your hard dedication, and we don't mind your constant complaining.
Yeah, we are nothing if not verbose, and we appreciate everything that you do. We literally could not do this without you. The channel wouldn't exist without you. So thanks, buddy. All right. So what's our closing phrase for tonight?
Um,
May the darkness not overcome you. No, you don't like it.
that that could work. I mean, I was trying to think of something to do with Memento, but I mean, the only thing I can come up with is like something corny, like may your day be Mento the fresh maker or something like that. But I don't know if that's going to work.
All right. Thank you everybody for joining us. Hope you have a good night.